Yo, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Stokastic.com MLB strategy show. Yeah, where we dig in, try and find the best plays, best configurations for every day. Can I say, by the way, how bad overall was pitching on yesterday's early slate? I mean, my God, you're talking about. I guess you could say Imanaga was fine, but like Dylan Cease, Priester didn't get out of the fifth. How many of these guys didn't get out of the fifth inning yesterday? Felt like almost everybody. And if they did, they only went five. I think Imanaga is the only one that went more than five. Crazy game. Crazy slate, I should say. But yeah, we got a big one today in the MLB. Big Friday slate. Take us into the weekend. I won't be here Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. I will return. Josh will be with you. We won't have a show on Monday, by the way. But Josh will be with you Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday and Friday will be my final days next week doing MLB and then making the full transition over to NFL because we will be one step closer to the start of the year. So, yeah, man, we're getting close, getting real close. Today's what, the 22nd? So what's Friday, the 29th of next week, the 29th, right? So then, you start up the following week, Labor Day on Monday, the 1st of September. We're going to start NFL content there and then never stop until the season's over. So, yeah, first game is Thursday, Eagles, Cowboys. Second game, you've got one. I forget where it is. Is it in Brazil? Was last year. I can't remember where it is this year. But anyway, Sao Paulo or something, wherever it is, it's on Friday. And then we've got Sunday games as well. So right around the corner, man, right around the corner. I got 3 more MLB shows. So we're not going any, can't get rid of me in baseball quite yet. But Josh will take over. For those of you diehard MLB fans, Josh will be with you throughout the remainder of the regular season. Jay Nevy, the season is upon us. I'm getting hard just thinking about it. Yeah, put on some sweatpants, man. That time is coming. Better get comfortable. Anthony, yeah, Josh will be doing it. Josh will be on baseball. Andrew, Cease is awful. Only played him due to K upside, still placed in tournaments. Yeah, who else was good, though? I mean, there weren't really many good pitchers. Mr. Hill, Loughy, are you doing the perfect lineup for NFL? I want to. Yeah, I want to. I think that'd be a lot of fun, actually. I'm really looking forward to doing a lot of betting stuff, too, because betting for the NFL is really fun. And not just sides. Like, sure, I like betting sides. They're much more difficult to beat, though. But, having some funds, honestly, taking like a tournament-style approach with parlays and round robins, to me, is a whole lot of fun. We hit a huge one last year in week 3 too. We hit a 5-leg parlay on anytime touchdowns, and we round robined it 2s, 3s, and 4s with the 5-leg parlay. It was a lot of fun, and honestly, just set us up the entire season to coast on those profits. So we'll see what we can do again this year. No promises, but if you guys do want to come hang out with me, all of my picks will be free this year. I'll have them on YouTube, not all of them, and I'll have some on Twitter. But if you look at that first link in the description, it says follow Loughy on Tails. Click that and just follow me because it's free. Just create a free account. It takes literally seconds to sign up because you can just do it with your Apple or your Gmail account or whatever. And then follow me right there. Turn on notifications if you want. And we're going to sweat football all year long. We're going to play it like a tournament too, for sure. We'll have some straight bets, along the way. Try and sustain ourselves. But we're going to have some fun and see if we can take something big down over the course of the season. Is there any better sport to bet than the NFL? Seriously. So from ladder plays to laddering touchdowns to, alt reception ladders or receiving yards to anytime touchdown parlays and round robins, we'll do it all. Come hang out with me over there and we'll have some fun. But yeah, we've got some football coming up. Yet today we still have baseball. We had football yesterday. I stayed up past 11 watching the New York Giants, and Tommy DeVito carved through that Patriots defense like a hot knife to butter. Yeah. Can't wait. Can't wait. Josh, 2 weeks we're going to be saying can't wait for NBA. Not me. I can tell you, not me. There's way too much fun to be had with NFL. Even if you have some rough weeks, like in DFS or betting, there's just so much fun. And the novelty factor is something that I don't ever want that to be lost on me. You don't have it every day. You don't have 15 games every day. You know, baseball, 15 games, 5 days a week. And then the other days you still have games. Basketball, you got on average, but like 6, 7 to 10 games every day. You know, some of them 12, 13. With football, you don't have it on Tuesdays. You don't have it on Wednesdays unless it's a holiday. You don't have it on Saturdays until the end of the season. You don't have it on Fridays unless it's rare. Talking 3 days a week, man. 3 days a week. And that isn't to say that everyone should be excited for football. Maybe some of you like baseball. I like baseball, but I'm ready. I'm ready. Anyway, let's dive into it. Big slate today. Big ass slate on a Friday. So we can tackle all of this from top pitchers to top stacks, look at our exposures and all of that good stuff. Also, since Josh is not with us today, there is no perfect lineup. However, we're going to do a community perfect lineup build at the end of this show, right? At the end, because there's no home run roulette today. At the end of this show, you did get Nick Kurtz, by the way, you guys. But at the end, we're going to group think this one into a perfect lineup, and we're going to play it in a single entry today. So I'm going to pull pictures from you guys in chat. Obviously, I'll have somewhat of a say. We're going to pull a stack. We're going to let the single lineup sims do the rest of the work, as we always do on the perfect lineup. And we're going to build one out right here and see what we can get. So I'll need your guys' help towards the end of the show. Until then, let's talk a little bit of baseball. So pulling up this slate top pitchers tool, I want to look at opponent totals real quick. So the lowest on the slate, you got the Athletics at T-Mobile Park against Brian Wu. 18% ownership isn't even that crazy. It's sub 20. He's still the second highest owned pitcher on the slate behind Zebby Matthews, who has the White Sox. And Zeb's got some pretty solid strikeout stuff. His price point seems fixed in that mid 7K range. But Brian Wu, yes, he's the highest priced pitcher on the slate. There is something to be said, though, about an Athletics team that has to come here, you know, typically playing at Sutter Health Field. Now coming to Seattle, the Mariners just got trashed in Philly, by the way. Absolutely trashed. Like 34 combined strikeouts between Luzardo, Suarez, and Sanchez, all lefties. But you look at the Athletics, 7th highest K rate in the league versus righties. They have pop, they have power, highest ISO, but this park really, really suppresses power. Brian Wu is someone who can work deep into games consistently all the time. Do you know how insane it is that Brian Wu has not pitched fewer than 6 innings in a game this year? Like, do we realize how nuts that is? 24 consecutive starts with 6+ innings pitched. 24. It's if I told you, you wouldn't believe it was true. I mean, the guy is just outrageously efficient. 2.39 ERA at home, by the way. So when you look at the home road splits, it's undeniable that the Mariners perform better at home, pitchers specifically. 3.5 xFIP at home, just a 0.84 whip, 181 opposing batting average, and a 26.5% K rate. He's expensive, no doubt, but man, what a damn good spot. Mr. Hill, Wu gives you quality starts every outing. Yeah, so if you're playing on sites where you get points for quality starts, you know, that's another feather in the cap for Wu there. Yeah, we can look at his outs props, sure. I love that you guys are getting into some of these props here, seeing how they actually, you know, tell us a lot of the story. I was betting NFL preseason this morning. It's actually on Giants minus 6.5 yesterday. They won, I think, 42-10. So that was nice. I just put 2 bets in tails, by the way. One of them, in case you guys are curious, maybe some of you are, maybe some of you aren't. That's okay. But I'll throw one out there for you guys. So highly suggest you come hang out and follow me over there. But in the event that you are uninterested, here you go. Browns minus 7.5 tomorrow against the Rams. Dresser Win is starting for the Rams. Going to play the whole game probably. Broncos minus 1.5 first half line as well. So we got a lot. I got a bunch of plays, 2 plays actually for today's games as well. But yeah, let's hang. Let's bet. Do it all regular season as well. But yeah, talking about Woo, what's his outs prop? Probably I'm gonna say 18.5. 18.5 makes the most sense to me, right? I'd say 18.5. Let's see here. Why is he not on here? Nah, he's not on. I don't know why he's not on here yet, but there's just it's gotta be 18.5. Gotta be. Take my word for it. Someone else can pull it up. And if I'm wrong, please let me know. But feel free to pull it up. Let me know. I'm gonna say 18.5. But yeah. It's a good spot. The price point is a little tricky. The fact that we only have him with a top 2 pitcher probability is surprising to me. 1.8% value. I mean, a lot of this suggests that we just might not get to a lot of Brian Wu in the Sims. But it's sure like if you're talking about a spot where you could get your 7 innings, 2 runs, and like 8 strikeouts, I think Wu is very live for that. Very, very live, if not better. And yet MLB still has him, still has this as TBD for the starting pitcher. But from what I saw, he is expected to get this start. So pay attention to it. If he doesn't, he doesn't. We'll update projections. What do you guys make of Max Fried here against Boston, getting 32% projected ownership right now? $9,500, 32%. It's honestly quite a wild number. If Fried really comes in at 32%, I don't know how I don't know how I'd want to get there. Really. That seems like a preposterously high amount of ownership for Max Fried. I know he's 9,500. I know it's not going to be super hot there, 79 degrees, but still, seems like a crazy price point. Or I'm sorry, ownership point. There's other guys I think I'd just rather play. I mean, Zebby Matthews is still sub 20% ownership. I know the White Sox have done us dirty, but the K rate there at 7,700, that's hard to ignore. You've got him at 16.5 outs, which is fine. 2.5 earned, but his K prop's got to be 5.5. Yeah, with juice to the over at 5.5, like 7,700. That's very reasonable. You know, and I'd imagine that this team is also, favored here as well. 4.2 run implied total for the White Sox. 4.9 for Minnesota with Aaron Savali on the other side. Zebby's actually been good to us when we've played him too. We played him against Washington from this show. I think that was a day game. I think we actually ran him out there against Detroit and he had another strong performance. But, I know there's some red flags from time to time on this guy. If you're just looking at surface level stuff like ERA and whatever, he hasn't been great. But you're also looking at a 30% strikeout rate through 48 innings now. 30% K rate for this guy. I would expect it to come down a little bit, but, you know, he never walked batters at the minors. He's not walking them at a high clip now, only 7%. 368 BABIP is almost certainly going to come down given his stuff elsewhere. And he has a 317 xFIP. His xERA is a full run lower than his actual ERA and a 3.59 FIP. So, yeah, I think this is actually a pretty good spot. And you could make the argument that he's actually been unlucky thus far from a run prevention standpoint. 13.3% swinging strike rate for Zebby Matthews. If you asked me to price him here, I'd put him at 8,500. Top of my head, probably 8,500. Now, could the White Sox burn us like they always do? Of course they could. Josh, the White Sox don't K much this year. No, but it's still a 5.5 K prop juiced to the over with a 30% strikeout rate on the season, right? So they have their 12th in strikeout rate on their active roster, the White Sox, against righties. 12th. 21.6%. You know, so it's not like they strike out a ton. They also don't strike out not at all. I couldn't agree more, though, Josh. They've been pesky, particularly against lefties. But, you know, I think anyone would understand the point here. Just that Zebby Matthews has good stuff. He's 7,700, probably should be more expensive. And when you've got a guy with, you know, really good strikeout stuff that doesn't walk a lot of guys and also has all of these underlying metrics that suggest he's been unlucky. So, yeah, I like it. And I do like Brian Wu, but I think I like him more than the tools do. The tools seem to say that, you know, he doesn't look quite as good here. You guys have any interest in a $6,200 Yu Darvish? Number one in top value today in the tools. Now, that doesn't mean that they're number one or even close to number one as far as they project. And Yu Darvish certainly won't be. You have any interest there, though? The only pitchers less expensive than him today are Tyler Anderson and Cade Povich against Houston. It's been a streaky go of things for Darvish lately, too. Dominated the Mets. Struggled against the Diamondbacks. Dominated the Giants. And then struggled against the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium last time out. He's got the same matchup today. I think at 6,200, there's an argument to be made for Darvish. But I don't think you're going to be enamored with him either. 22% K rate so far this year. You're not getting the same strikeout stuff that we've seen in previous seasons. Really not even close from his prime in Texas. Not even close. You know, look, Darvish, not sure you guys know this, but like it's just wild to think that Yu Darvish is older than I am. You know? Maybe because, yeah, no, he's 39 years old. Actually, just turned 39 last week. He's 39. Dude's been in the league since 2012, and he's thrown a good amount of pitches. I always just get the idea that he's younger than he is, but no, the guy's flirting with 40. Born in 86. Jay Nevy, I just got your free picks notification. The notification popped up Broncos minus. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's the way it should be. Lee Price, only narrative I can tell myself is Coors Field hangover for Dodgers, but that's not enough to get me to you. Yeah. And the Coors Field hangover, it's not like it always happens. It's just sometimes, but I don't really think it's a real thing. I don't think first game in Coors is a real thing either. Couple mentions I saw of Ben Brown as well. Ben Brown, cheap against the Angels. Angels really struggle against righties. Well, they hit them for power, but they strike out a boatload. Can Ben Brown get it done at 6,600 and 7% ownership? Sure. Actually, positively leveraged, 10.7% top two pitcher probability. But how many pitches is this guy going to throw? I couldn't tell you. His last 4 outings, 57, 56, 55, 54. We can see if he's got any props, but he doesn't. Yeah, I'm interested. I'm intrigued, let's say, but I don't love it. Ryan Nelson against Cincinnati is another one of those spots. You know, Ryan Nelson kind of coming out of nowhere with a pretty solid season. Struggled a little bit lately, but he went on a pretty wicked stretch there where he looked good all the time. You don't love him against Cincy, though. 4.6 run implied total. Blake Snell at 9,300 against a team in San Diego that really doesn't strike out much. And Blake Snell's been back for what, 3 starts? If you were telling me like Blake Snell is 8,700, I'd buy it just because this is such a tough strikeout spot. But I'd be lying if I told you I wasn't a little interested here. 96 pitches last time out. $96 for Blake Snell. If there were ever a spot where I'd be willing to kind of bite the bullet and be like, you know what, I'll take a shot on a pitcher against a team that doesn't strike out a lot, it would probably be with a guy like Blake Snell, because when he's rounded into top form, which maybe he will be, he's not a $9,300 pitcher in any matchup. But man, San Diego, 17.5% K rate against lefties. They're not great elsewhere, though. Like 136 ISO is bottom 7 in the league. 310 WOBA is fine. It's middle of the pack. You know? Slight positive leverage, only 9% ownership. It's not the craziest spot. Would you guys entertain the idea of going to Nathan Eovaldi here? Because this to me always ends up being one of those spots where no one ever wants to play him. I say it all the time that he's really one of the most unheralded pitchers in the league. When he's fully healthy and he's not returning from an IL stint, which, you know, isn't often, although he's been pretty healthy this year, in fairness, he's good. Throws a lot of pitches, goes deep into games. He is expensive, but Cleveland's been one of those under-the-radar bad offenses this year. Like 307 WOBA versus righties, 28th in the league. 96 WRC plus, 27th in the league, essentially tied with the White Sox. They don't strike out all that much at 20.8%. That's 18th in the league. But maybe there's an argument to be made for a guy like Eovaldi, just knowing that this guy's very, very good. 18.5 outs prop. Very solid. Let me see if I assume Wu still isn't up because he hasn't been announced yet. Eovaldi, strikeouts, where's he at? 5.5. See, that's a little bit concerning. The under juiced on 5.5 strikeouts. 2.5 earned. 4.5 hits. At 10.3, I don't love it. You'd really, at that price point, want to see better props coming in on the strikeouts. For sure. Josh, I tried Eovaldi last time, and I think the Diamondbacks rocked him. Yeah, that was his first bad start since June. Honestly, though, looking over all those props for today, it actually worries me a little bit. It does. Those just aren't great numbers for a guy that's at 10,300. Nice outs prop, but everything else is, I mean, it's still good, but it's not really 10-3 good. When we line it up against Brian Wu, I think you'll see Brian Wu look better in this spot. Should we talk about Shane Bieber? Good morning, Eric Johnson. Good morning. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, if you guys haven't done so, could you take a second to atone for your sins this morning? I was in football mode, dialed in early. I forgot. Hit that thumbs up. 182 of you with me right now. We got 48 thumbs up. Not bad. But if you forgot, subtle reminder here to atone. Goes a long way. Appreciate you for it. Leave a comment down below and subscribe to the channel. That's free. When I say subscribe, you're not signing your life away. You're not giving out your social. You're just clicking a button. And if you hate it, you can come unsubscribe whenever you'd like. Yeah, Bieber's interesting. Very interesting. Because this is somebody like going into the year, you're talking about a guy that has, legitimate Cy Young, legitimate shot of being a Cy Young winner, right? Very good pitcher. And then, boom, he's done. But here he is back in action today, going up. And let's not act like this is a tough matchup either. It's a pretty forgiving matchup. Miami's been sneaky at times this year. They don't strike out a lot, but they're not a power-packed offense by any stretch. 135 ISO for this team is second to last in the league, and a 99 WRC plus is bottom 5. But they do not strike out a lot. That kind of sucks. But also, Shane Bieber's pretty good. How many pitches did he throw in his final rehab start? I saw someone mention it. I'm just pulling it up, though, real quick. Could anyone tell me off the top of their heads? Would be helpful. I'll wait on that, but yeah, Kyle, it's a weird slate. A lot of pitchers in decent spots, even cheap. Yeah, I saw someone mention though. I think you said 90 pitches. I'll be honest, I probably don't go to Shane Bieber today at 9K. Probably a spot I shy away from in his first start back. And this is truly, someone said 90 earlier. All right, thanks. That's fine. That's good. He's not negatively leveraged. He's not really positively leveraged. Top 2% pitcher is 11%. He's got 11% ownership. There you go, Elliot. Thank you. 90 pitches, 7 shutout innings. Einsteinium, if it's 90 pitches, he's probably under projected. Yes, but here's the problem. Just because you threw 90 pitches in a rehab start doesn't mean that you're going to have, the manager let you run out there and throw 95 or 90 pitches. Like it is different sometimes. Not to say that they have no say over rehab appearances, but you're talking about a guy that clearly is going to have a bunch of rehab starts because he was out for such an extended period of time. But it doesn't necessarily mean that, he's locked in. See if you guys can pull something up. See if there's anything on pitch count for him. Blue Jays are 5 games up in the AL East right now over the Yankees. I do 4.5. Sorry. I do think there's something to be said about them not trying to force it too much in his first start. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, if we have props up, that'll tell us all we need to know. 5.5 strikeouts, juice to the under. Or no, I'm sorry. Was that hits? That was hits. 5.5. Okay. Also 5.5 strikeouts. Unders juiced across the board there. Heavily on Penny. Outs. 16.5. with the under slightly juiced there. So you're talking like 5 1/3, 5 2/3 innings. And then earned runs for Bieber, 2.5. You guys can be the judge of that. If you think it's wrong, then Bieber should be not only a guy you're playing in DFS, but certainly someone you're looking to bet today. Like if you see something else there, don't just take it to the DFS streets. Go bet on some of these Bieber props. If you know, because it is like you can have these props that are pretty consistent across the board, but there are times when you have a guy returning from an injury stint or, for one reason or another, where there's actually an edge to be found in those. No doubt about it. Eric, double-digit ownership for a guy coming off the injury. No thanks. Yeah. Low double digits, to be fair, but yeah. I think it's a weird spot, especially given that Miami's got a 17% K rate. 17% K rate kind of sucks. I'd much rather be going up against a team where he could fan a bunch of guys. And even if he doesn't have the greatest start, you still get the strikeouts. That would be preferable. But we'll see. Any other pitchers we want to talk about here? Big slate. I think it's fair to say we can rule some of them out as well. Like looking down here at the bottom, Whisenhunt against Milwaukee. I saw a couple people mention Brian Bayo. It's just such a deep slate that I really don't know if this is a type of spot I want to plant my flag today. At Yankee Stadium, I know this Yankee team doesn't look nearly as good as they did earlier in the year, but they're pretty healthy right now. It's still not the best start. They still have a 5.1 run implied total. Sure, Brian, but he's acquitted himself well, let's say, recently, but he's 8K. It just seems like you're overpaying there. Miles Mikolas at George Steinbrenner Field against Tampa. Yeah, I think we'll pass on Miles Mikolas there. Wind's blowing out a little bit. Rain is a problem, 85 degrees too. That's like the one game it seems like it'd be an issue. Maybe Atlanta. Ryan Bergert, 7,200 against Detroit. They have a 5-run total. Tyler Anderson against the Cubs, 5.5-run total. $8,700 Nolan McLean. What's weird about this slate is you have these odd groupings. Like you have two 10K pitchers. You have 3 in the 9K range. You have 4 in the 8K range. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the 7K range. It's very spread out. Like you don't have to lean heavily into one tier at all. Nolan McLean, though, 91 pitches in his first start, 5 in the 3rd innings, 2 hits, 8 strikeouts. He did walk 4. 8,700, likely getting no ownership whatsoever. One of the reasons too is that the 8 strikeouts are more of an illusion, an anomaly, I should say. I don't expect this to be the case going forward at all. Like this guy, 27% strikeout rate in the minors, not bad, but you can't expect that to transition over to a higher strikeout rate at the major league level. Also, guy struggles with walks. All of those things coming into a game like this, pretty scary. Braves have an implied total of 4.7, which isn't bad for McLean, making his second start ever. But 2.5 earned runs, not bad. Outs, probably 15.5. Oh, we don't even have one. Strikeouts, 4.5. 8,700. That's a bridge too far for me. Yeah, Lance McCullers coming off the IL. I'm a big Lance McCullers fan. Don't get me wrong. I've always liked him. That wicked knuckle curve is fun to watch. He is always injured. Always injured. Who knows how much longer he makes it? But he's always hurt. Now he's 6,800. We actually got some great starts from him early this year in June and late May. That 112 strikeout game was fantastic, right? Absolutely decimated the Athletics. I'm just not really interested, honestly. There's too many other pitching options for me to go, all right, let me go back to Lance McCullers here. He hasn't pitched in a month again. You know, I know it was only a finger injury, so how much how much rehab do you really need? So I guess that helps. Baltimore is not a good baseball team. They're much worse against lefties though than they are against righties. Much worse against righties. Like against lefties, they're middle of the road. They do strike out a decent amount against righties, but all in all, top 10 ISO, 109 WRC plus is 12th in the league, tied with the Detroit Tigers. They're actually just really, really bad against lefties, and middle of the road, if not better than that, against righties. Let's see what our exposures look like today. Any guesses? I have to think Zebby's up there. Yep, there you go. And Darvish. A lot of Darvish. We're going really cheap. Some Max Fried, Ben Brown, not a lot of Brian Wu, not a lot of Eovaldi. That doesn't surprise me. Not a lot of Bieber or Snell. So it's funny to see all of those guys, those 9 and 10K guys down there outside of Max Fried. Wow. Ryan Nelson, Cade Povich, Savali. Despite all of the options on this slate, the way the sims are right now, we're getting 4 guys. Zebby Matthews, Yu Darvish, Max Fried, and Ben Brown. Of course, you guys can make decisions on your own. You can go into ROI boost, adjust that. You can go into lineups over here, hit the exposure caps, bring down exposures on specific caps that you want to get less of. All of that makes sense. Look at our stacks. And by the way, you guys want to get these tools, and I just answered 2 of these today. Still plenty of MLB left. Hit me up, DM me at Loughy_D on Twitter or on Instagram, LOUGHY_D. Say, hey, can I get that promo code? I'll give you a great code. Big discount for a week or a month of The Sims. Either one. Or just sign up with the link in the description here. It's where sign up with any of our partners. If you're in a non-legal state, I had this question today. You can still jump on Better or Sleeper or Underdog or Prize Picks or Chalkboard. Sign up, make your minimum deposit. You got to click claim offer here. That's how it works. Make a minimum deposit, place a bet or a lineup if it's a pick'em site, and then the moment that settles, whether it wins or loses, just take a screenshot of your welcome email and your first settled bet. Email us at support@stokastic.com. Tell us what you want. Shit, if you sign up on 3 or 4 of these, you can be like, hey, give me a month of MLB and I want 3 months of NFL. Free roll 3 months of NFL core sims. Super simple way to do it. Links in the description for that. And one more thing, guys. I know this isn't for everybody, but I want to let everybody know because it is for some people. TC, try Chalkboard out. It's a pick'em site, just like Prize Picks or any of the others. I know this isn't for everybody, but promo code BIRD, BIRD, will get you 10% off any annual package right now. That is NFL Core Annual for the entire season, NFL Max for the entire season, All Access Max for the entire season or the entire year. All of that is 10% off. Now it's already discounted, standard discount, because you're grabbing the whole season in advance. But if you were to jump in now, because this ends soon, that's why it's the early bird special with promo code BIRD, BIRD. It's right over at Stokastic.com. 10% additionally is coming off any annual subscription you want for NFL or All Access. So that's a big one. If you have any questions, hit me up. But yeah, for those of you who plan on playing football all year long, jump in now and grab that big discount instead of paying monthly You know, that's the way to do it. Anyway, taking a look at our stacks here. Where are we going? Oh, I want to look at the top stacks tool first. All right, Chicago against Anderson, Houston against Povich, Minnesota against Savali, Tampa against Michaelis. None of this is all that surprising to us, right? Toronto against Gusto. Yankees against Bayo's up there too. Detroit against Berger. Look how many 5-run totals there are. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 totals of 5+. Only 4 of sub 4. So that definitely stands out to me. You got Houston here against Povich. They've got a big total today. In Baltimore. Pretty decent hitting weather. No weather concerns there. 83 degrees. Tampa Bay is another one. Could the rain be an issue? Sure. But our friend Kevin Roth suggests it should be okay. Chicago against Anderson. No denying that's a great spot. Atlanta against McLean. Okay. Could be sneaky. Guy could walk a bunch of guys, then give up a homer or two. Got Baltimore against McCullers. That's another spot I actually like. We talked about Baltimore being decent against righties. McCullers coming off the IL. This guy's been all over the map this season. Never know what to make of him. So here's our total 3, 4, 5-man stack exposure. Chicago, Houston, Baltimore, Tampa, and San Diego in that order. Teams we're not getting much of or any of: Athletics, Dodgers, Boston, Cleveland, Miami. Really, St. Louis, San Francisco, Kansas City, Toronto, LA, Angels, Texas, White Sox, Detroit. A lot of these teams we're getting very little of. We have 7 teams with 8+% stack exposure right now. See what individual bats look like too. This can guide us as well. In the outfield, Chandler Simpson, 5K, 29%. 29% Suzuki as well. Aaron Judge at 22. Fernando Tatis at 16. Acuna at 15%. Jeremy Pena, 25%. Gunnar Henderson. So a lot of Baltimore right now. I don't mind that at all, really, at all, against McCullers. Elliott, 13. Bobby Witt at 12. We always get Bobby Witt. Jordan Westburg. This team's disappointed us this year, but you know what? You're seeing some price points kind of neutralize, look a little bit better. A lot of Tampa, too. Junior Caminero. Matt Shaw for Chicago. Manny Machado. Carlos Correa. Nico Horner, $3,400. He's the only real guy, the only one at second base that we're getting much of. You have 4 guys in that 10% range. Mountcastle, Walker, Justin Turner. Yanier Diaz, Cal Raleigh, really spread out at catcher today. And then for those of you guys who joined late, here's our pitching exposures right now. A lot of Zeb, surprisingly a lot of Yu Darvish. Max Fried, Ben Brown. If there are a few guys I'd want to get a little more of, Brian Wu would be in there. Brian Wu would be the one guy I'd like to get a little more of. Maybe sprinkle in some Shane Bieber. A little bit of Blake Snell. I'd be okay with that. Just to kind of bring down the Max Fried exposures a bit. Let's do that one time. Let's bring Max Fried down, and I don't think it's going to change much, if we're being honest. But I'm going to bring this down for the sake of argument's sake here. Bring Darvish down to like 30% and bring Fried down to 20% and see how it rebalances everything. And when you set exposures here, you do not need to change anything. It'll reset it for you. So Zebby, we're getting more of. Ben Brown, more of. More Ryan Nelson, Savali, Povich. We get, so a little bit more Snell and Bieber, a little bit more Wu, but nothing significant there at all. All right. Mr. Hill, what team would you get different with for bats? Well, I think we already are in some spots. You know, if you look at the ownership on Houston, You look at Baltimore from an ownership standpoint. Baltimore is where I'd get different. 5% is not a lot on any slate. You know, you're not gonna see any team get a lot of ownership today. I mean, Chicago's the highest at 8%. There's really nothing that stands out at all. Eric, the A's are 16-8 since July 24th, second best record. Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, sure. They have power bats. If you're referring to the whole Brian Wu thing, yeah, I mean, maybe they'll be the first team to really beat him up. All right, so let's do this before we go. Because Josh is not with us today, we are going to take the perfect lineup here to the strategy show, and you guys are going to give me a helping hand. You're going to give me 2 pitchers and a stack. Of course, I will have some say in this, but start tossing them out there. Let's see what we can do. And of course, if you are watching this separate from the strategy show and the perfect lineup itself, which Josh is going to clip for us, leave a comment down below. Let us know who you think the highest scoring stack is going to be. And if you're right, guess what? Free week of The Sims may be coming your way. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. See, I'm doing this live on this show that's going to be repurposed for another show. But you guys can come along for the ride with me because you're going to help me build this lineup out. So let's go with some pitchers here. Ryan wants Wu and Povich. I don't want to go Wu here. I think we got to look a little bit differently. I'm okay with Ben Brown. I already know in The Sims that he looks pretty decent today. I don't think we have to do, anything The Sims wants us to do, right? Because we can make some decisions on our own. But I think what would be interesting, yeah, Roger, go to Zebby. What about like a Zebby Ben Brown lineup here? Go cheap at both pitchers, 1 and 2 pitcher. Let's see what happens if we make this happen. Zeb looks good, 5.5K prop today. Everything else looks good for him. It's a quality matchup. White Sox might not have the highest K rate, but they're bottom of the league in every other relevant metric. And then you've got Ben Brown against an Angels team that does have power versus righties, but strikes out at the highest clip in baseball against right-handed arms. So let's try it and see what happens. It appears some of you in chat agree with me. What about our stack? You got a few spots that stand out. The Cubs. I know the one spot that I am interested in getting to is Baltimore against Lance McCullers, coming off the IR. Hasn't pitched at the major league level in a month. Has had some serious ups and downs when he is healthy this season. Has had some serious issues with the long ball at times as well. That would be my vote, but I'm willing to open it up to you guys. Got to take the Pirates with Senzatella. Well, it's not on this slate, so we can't do that. Einstein, you like St. Louis in the minor league park. Don't love them today. How did the White Sox lose on Elvis Presley night? Mets versus Wentz. I think we got to go with either Baltimore or Atlanta against McLean. I think Atlanta is one of those teams that, you see this young pitcher coming off a great start, 8 strikeouts. And here's Atlanta. Underwhelming season. But you got him coming into this game with a 4.7 total. Talking about an Atlanta Braves team today that also has 3% stack ownership. A couple of you guys want Baltimore. Let's do it. Let's see what we can get out of Baltimore here. Who were our highest owned when we ran the Sims? I believe... Let's see here. We had a lot of Henderson. We had a lot of Westberg. I'm perfectly fine running him out there. Should we go to... Let's go Mountcastle here. And then let's see if we can do a Brave stack as well. Let's see what a 5-3 looks like. What about that? What about a 5-3? We got 4,500 remaining. We can do whatever the hell we want here. We can plug in Ronald Acuna. We can plug in. Profar's been on a nasty heater lately. Profar. Marcell Ozuna. Shall we go? We got 4,600 remaining. What if we go with a 4-3-1? What happens if we go 4-3-1? We have 5,100 remaining. We go Jazz Chisholm against Bayo. Do large field 25% the first. I'll put Harris in the next one. Damn, look at that. 66%. Now that's a 4-3-1. All right, let's try this. Let's go Braves and pull out Baltimore. One of you guys wanted Blake Snell with Zeb. Let's try it. Let's go Blake Snell, Zebby Matthews. And then we will throw in a 5-man Braves stack and see what happens. Okay? Let's see what happens if we do that, and then we'll let the Sims round it out for us. We can throw Harris in here. It's not going to change much. I can tell you that based on the projection and ownership and everything. We can go Matt Olson here. And who's next? We need one more. No, we got him. Let's complete the lineup with the Sims. What did I do wrong? What's the problem here? We have five Braves, right? Why can't it complete it for me? Couldn't solve it. Check player and South. No, come on. All right, what if I pull out Profile? Will it work now? Oh, good call. Good call. I had Atlanta singled out. My man. Appreciate you. Who did I have in there? Ozuna? No, we'll plug Profile. All right, all matchups. Complete this lineup. It gives us a 5-man Atlanta with Nico Horner, Mark Vientos, and Jeremy Pena. So this is a 5-man stack, not a 5-3, 5-2-1, nothing like that. Just a 5-man stack with 3 one-offs here with Blake Snell and Zebby Matthews as our pitchers. Can we get a good Blake Snell lineup? There you go, 44%. Not bad. Sweet. I'm going to tell Josh not to cut that for the perfect lineup because it's just, you can't streamline it the way you would when you're recording. But anyway, 2 good lineups there. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Have a great rest of the day, a great weekend. I am taking off Monday through Wednesday, but I'll be back with you on Thursday. You're in good hands with Josh next week until I return. You guys have a good rest of the day. Watch the Live Before Lock tonight with Greg and Eric. Remember, you want to come hit me up over on Tails. First link down there. All my NFL picks will be free this year. You want to go, grab the Sims for yourself. You can do it 2 ways. Use the link right here. Sign up. It's in the description with any of our Sportsbook or Pick'em partners and get as many months as you can for as many books you're not on yet. Or DM me, Loughy_D. And last thing, promo code BIRD, B-I-R-D. That is 10% off the entire season of NFL Core or Max. If you have questions about it, hit me up. Otherwise, use BIRD, and that'll get you 10% off. You won't have to worry about a single thing going throughout the season. knowing you got a massive discount before it even began. Anyway, thanks, you guys. Appreciate it as always, and I will see you back here next time on Thursday. Bye-bye.